today I'm going to the Temple Mount, and part of the process for me is going up to the going to a mikveh, which is a ritual bath. It's part of the process, and I'm locked in. And what I like about a mikveh, first of all, it's, if you find the right one, it's a warm, yummy bath. It's also the name. Mikveh means hope. So I like that. It means that there's hope. And it's just a way of purifying ourselves. So I found this lovely mikveh in Katamon. Yeah, and it's a bit of a process. It means that in order to go to the Kotel, I have to, in order to go to the Temple Mount, I have to wake up real early, jump in the mikveh. I woke up 5 o'clock. Haven't had my coffee yet. Not a nice thing. Then I jump in the mikveh, become purified. It's a lovely process, actually. I really enjoy it. Then I'm going to head to the Kotel, hopefully pray a little. But today, the reason why I'm going up is that there was a call for a mass ascension of the Jews to the Temple Mount. This mass ascension is a reaction to the Muslim takeover of Shar HaRachamim, the Gate of Mercy, also known as the Golden Gate, which was sealed up 500 years ago by the Ottomans. And the Muslims actually established, the Ottomans also established a cemetery. Actually, I think it was sealed up longer than 500 years ago. I'll have to check that out for you. The cemetery was established, a Muslim cemetery just outside, because it was from the mistaken belief that it would prevent the Jewish Messiah from coming. So it's a very important spot. And in general, the Palestinians have acted in an irresponsible way. In 1967, there was one mosque up there. Now this is the 5th one. And Jews are still not allowed to pray up there. So the fact that they grabbed another spot is really inexcusable. We're going up there to protest the Muslim takeover of that particular site. By the way, if you're curious, this is the area called Katamon in Jerusalem. I'm staying with a dear friend. It's now, yes, 5:45 in the morning. And we're going up to protest it. And what's crazy is that there are people who think that the Jews are intentionally trying to incite, which I don't even understand how you can begin to say that when it all comes from the fact that the Muslims grabbed another area. So that's what I'm doing. I'll take you up there. Like I said, it's a process, and I thought it would be nice for you to see that it's not just hee-ha, I'm here like a regular tourist site. So I'm not allowed to go up in regular leather shoes, so I have a new pair of black running shoes. I'll show you a picture of that. And it's not just a regular site or a synagogue or something like that. It's actually a physical process and a spiritual process for a Jew to go up to the Temple Mount. It's actually I find it to be very transformative. Last time I wrote an article about how I went up with my dear friend Shlomo Weil, and I was not exaggerating. I got down, and when I left, I was overcome by tears. I hope that doesn't happen again. I don't like public crying. In any case, I got to catch a bus and work my way over there. Jews are not allowed to use the water fountains or the bathrooms, lest we actually make a blessing, which we have a blessing after going to the bathroom. We have a blessing over everything we eat or drink. But that's, if anyone remembers in the 60s when blacks in America were not permitted to use water fountains, well, that's what we have here on the Temple Mount, except towards the Jews. We're not permitted to use the same water fountains. It's apartheid for you. I'll get back to you about the rest of this adventure. So I made it to the Kotel with Rav Weiss, an amazing man. great to see him in the morning. I even got a cup of coffee on the way down here. And I forgot my talis at home, but there's a lovely gentleman who prints them out. Thank God, it's an amazing thing. So I get to put on talis at the hotel, and then we're going to, it's as you can see, it's raining. And then we go up and we pray to God. So this is the group going up. As you can see, there's a lot of us. This is Rav Yisrael Ariel. Rav Yisrael Ariel, he actually was one of the was with the troops who Baruch Hashem returned Parabite to Am Yisrael. And he's a very important person when it comes to the Temple Mount. And he just told me that it's very important, especially these days, for Jews to go up to the Temple Mount. All Jews. Also, I have a question. Do you also think that it's important for Okay. The Rav doesn't understand English, so I'll try to translate it as much as possible. האם אתה חושב שיש חשיבות למקום הזה גם לנוצרים ואינם יהודים?
אחרית הימים יבואו כולם להר בית השם, עוד נאמר על ידי ישעיהו הנביא, והיה מדי חודש בחודשו ומדי שבת בשבתו יבוא כל בשר להשתחוות לפניי, אמר אדוני. עוד פעם, והיה מדי חודש בחודשו.
So this is, I'm filming in the rain. Hopefully my phone will stay open. This is, as I said, the Temple Mount. It's huge. You can see all the area with the trees, so there's a lot here. The police are doing an amazing job of keeping it open. The easiest thing for the police would be to just shut it all down. But they're making sure that both Jews and Muslims can come up and be on the Temple Mount. This is at the risk of their lives. It's really an amazing thing that the Israeli police are doing. As I said, the easiest thing would be shut it down, both Jews and Arabs. Organize the situation, but they're at the risk of their lives. They're keeping it open. So actually, Yaakov, you made a really powerful point. The point is, our desire to come up to the Temple Mount is not to destroy the mosque and build up a. We want at least to be able to pray as they did in the times of the temple. They prayed on the Temple
Absolutely.
Mount.
First of all, the mosque is Al-Aqsa. We're not talking about Al-Aqsa.
You're right. You're right.
The Dome of the Rock is where the Beit Mikdash, the temple, needs to be, and it will be there. I believe that the Muslims at some point in time will come and just tell us, take it back. We took it from you, take it back. And build the temple, which we all need.
More amazing things have happened.
More amazing things have happened. So what we need, the first step though, before the Beit Mikdash, is we have to redeem this place. We have to redeem the Temple Mount by, instead of hundreds of thousands of Jews playing at the Kotel, which is, with all due respect to the Kotel, it's a retaining wall for the Temple Mount. We have to be here, on the mount. This is the holy place, not below. So once we start praying here in tens of thousands and hundred thousands, we'll build synagogues, and then we'll build Beit Mikdash, one step at a time.
And it's actually, I mean, you have to believe in the power of prayer to understand how important it is.
Absolutely. We have a mitzvah to pray 3 times a day. But there's no specific place that we have to pray. We build synagogues because it's convenient. But the only place that we're actually required to pray is here on the temple. Here it's a special mitzvah to be praying.
Really?
Yeah. So anytime I come here to the Temple Mount, with groups, we always take time. We make sure that people pray, and for all kinds of things, national things, personal things, parnassah, health.
Rain.
Rain, absolutely. Everything from the national level, the personal level, is important to pray.
Amen. So I'd like to say that even if you're not here with me, if you're watching this, you should pray for the peace of Jerusalem, as we're told to, and you should have a blessing from it.
Absolutely.
So here we are passing the Golden Gate. They're moving us across pretty fast. As you can see, last time I was here, the gates were locked and the gates underneath were closed. Now the gates are very clearly open. Of course, Jews cannot go down there, only Muslims. Also, this gate was also closed and now it's open. And as I said, Jews cannot go down there. This will be the 5th mosque if it's allowed to stay up. It'll be the 5th mosque It'll be the 5th mosque that the Muslims establish here, and no synagogues. As you can see, there are a bunch of Arabs, cousins, whatever you want to call them, making sure that we don't go down. To be honest, it's a little bit tense, but this is the situation. So, as I said, they're making sure that we don't go down. And this is the situation. And as I said, the police are right on top of it. They could have just closed the entire area and had a much easier life, but they're making sure, and you can see that they're carrying tear gas canisters. The police are risking their lives in order to keep the Temple Mount open to Jews and Muslims alike. So a big thanks to the police of Israel for doing such amazing work and not taking the easy route out. And this is the situation as we see it. It may look like just a friendly street scene, but with a few policemen carrying tear gas canisters. However, this really can explode into a regional conflict right at this very spot at any minute. And the police are doing, as I said, amazing work.
עד היום, בכל מערכת הבחירות הזאת, הר הבית לא היה סוגיה בכלל במערכת הבחירות. אנחנו היום צריכים לדרוש.
Hi everybody, we're here at a very special time because this woman and her husband came all the way from the Golan to give thanks to God for health, and her husband was sick and he was cured, so they brought fruit, dates, and everybody made a blessing, which is something that is unfortunately controversial up here, to say God's name and a blessing and a prayer. But she said this should be like the Korban Todah, the Thanksgiving offering, the Thanksgiving sacrifice that was brought in at temple times, and that's why she wanted everybody to participate in her joy. And so she distributed those fruit. Everybody said the blessing, "Blessed are you, God, King of the universe," and everybody answered Amen. And so one step at a time, we are establishing our sovereignty here, the Jewish people's control over our holiest spot. And something that, there's a lot of police here because we're not allowed to pray, and they have to make sure that, God forbid, no Jewish people would pray. Prayer is our secret weapon, they know that, and so they want to keep us unarmed in this spiritual epicenter. So, but we're slowly starting to establish our sovereignty with God's help, with people's help, people's prayers. You don't have to be here to pray for the Temple Mount. Pray for the Temple Mount anywhere. And we're going to say a blessing ourselves, okay? Amen. Blessed are you, Hashem, King of the universe, who gave us the fruit of the tree. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
So Yaakov, we began the temple sacrifices today.
Yes.
The first step.
The most important sacrifice is that people have to move their legs to come here.
Amen.
That's the main sacrifice.
Amen.
Once they do that, we've paved the road to the temple.
But Yaakov, I've never said a blessing up here before.
Yeah.
I'm shaking. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah. It's happening more and more because the people are realizing that it's up to us. We can't wait for the prime minister. We can't wait for the courts. We can't wait for the chief rabbinate. We can't wait for the police. We have to come here and be Jews on the Temple Mount.
It was funny. Even Gilad Erdan, when he was talking to the media about the situation that's currently taking place up here, even he said, "Look, there's so many Jews going up. There's not going to be another mosque up there."
Yeah.
So I'd like to say, of course, the Jews should.
That will just turn around to people leaving the mount. We don't turn our backs on the side of the temple.
We don't. God forbid. We never turn our backs on the Temple Mount. The Jews, of course, have to come up here, and as it says, and as I keep saying over and over again, you're looking at this picture. It's as if you're here. It's a virtual reality. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Absolutely. We have to pray here. that we're talking about Israeli sovereignty. It starts here. Israeli sovereignty also in Yehuda and Shomron. The most important, first of all, the Temple Mount, the place, our holiest place. Once we have sovereignty here, everything else will come.
And it won't come with war. The Rabbah, this is a place, even more so the opposite. This is a place of peace. If we establish ourselves here and turn this into a place for all nations, then peace will actually follow. Mim, I think Tuli is 100% correct. The Messiah and the temple are brought by baby steps. Excuse me. What we just saw here was a baby step towards beginning the sacrifices. Everyone thinks it's this big, massive thing, lots of blood, lots of animals. This was it. I ate a date from the Temple Mount. The first time I have ever made a blessing on the Temple Mount.
That's right.
And this is how it starts.
This is how it starts. This is certainly where it starts. And we're not trying to advocate for violence. This is supposed to be, and it needs to be, a place of prayer and a place of peace. And we want it to be a place for prayer for all nations, right? Just like it said in the Tanakh, a place of prayer. Beiti beit tefillah, yikareh l'kohan. Unfortunately, right now, only the Muslims are allowed to pray. Even though it's in the middle of Israel, in the middle of Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, only the Muslims are allowed to pray here. When the Jewish people establish more control with God's help, we're going to allow, of course, not only Jews to pray, but all people to pray here. That's what it's all about, in a way that's non-violent. In a way that's non-violent. All right. Oh.
Again, the Arabs are very uptight, and the police are working beautifully. This is how it explodes, by a Jew actually walking 1 meter off of the trail, off of the path. 1 meter, and that almost led to an explosion. Kol hakavod, the police are doing amazing things at keeping the calm.
Unfortunately, these women are paid by the Palestinian Authority and Hamas to provoke violence, to yell. She was yelling at a child. I don't know if you were able to see that. She was yelling at a child.
More police are showing up, so God willing, that'll calm down. I'm going to keep moving, just because if we stay here, it'll add to the tension.
What they want is a photo op of an Israeli policeman or soldier using force to overcome a woman, because that plays very well in the news.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of days ago, we reported on a policeman who was opening up.
This is, by the way, this is so important to say that what you see on the media is staged. It's staged completely. And first of all, most of the mainstream media don't report on the Temple Mount at all. Breaking Israel news, every day we're talking about what's happening here.
It's the most important story being told. Here it goes. And of course the solution is to take the Jews out of here. No Jew is yelling, no Jew is angry, and the solution is to get us out of here. Which is of course unfair, but that's the condition as it stands. And that's what we're doing, because of course we like the police, we want to make their job easier.
Here, I wanted to say something else, that a lot of people are expecting for the temple to fall out from the sky and for the Messiah to come, you know, in a very miraculous way. And certainly it will be miraculous, like everything in Israel is miraculous. But we really believe, it says in Malachi chapter 3 verse 1, that the Mashiach is going to come to the Beit HaMikdash. And so what that means is that first we have to build the Beit HaMikdash, and then the Mashiach. It really depends on us, and we could take our destiny in our own hands and make it all happen, and that's really an important piece.
It's funny that Jews believe in doing the mitzvahs, but for some reason this one mitzvah we say no, it'll come down from heaven.